So for weeks, maybe even months, I have been promising my newsletter readers that I am going to try the recipe that I think probably approximates to Angie's ginger biscuits. And I haven't had time. But today I wrote the last words on a conspicuous woman. And so I said, let's make the biscuits today. So we're going to give it a go. Now, just for context, Angie in the books makes these ginger biscuits that Wolf loves. And somebody asked me for the recipe. And when I wrote it, what I had in mind were these ginger nut biscuits, that's what they're called, that we used to have when I was a kid in England that are made by McVitie's. So I Googled a recipe that approximates those, and this is what I got. So let's give it a go. So the first thing to note is that this is a metric recipe. So obviously, if you're in the US, do the necessary conversions. Because of that, I heated the oven to 170 degrees Celsius. Off the top of my head, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but do the conversion. I also melted 50 grams of butter. I'm gonna put the recipe in the comments, so don't worry about that too much. Okay, so we've got 100 grams of sifted flour, got half a teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of baking powder, which are gonna go in here. There we go. Then we've got 3 teaspoons of ginger. Now this is ginger I actually got in Morocco when we went and did the research trip for the second in the Melody Chesterton series, and my husband and I did a cooking class learning how to make tagine, and they gave us all these lovely spices. So this is Moroccan ginger. And then I have 20 grams of white sugar, and then it said 20 grams of golden caster sugar, but I'm not sure I can actually get that here. So we made an executive decision and went with dark brown sugar because it has more molasses in it. I'm sure the worst it'll be is extra chewy. So that's 40 grams of sugar altogether. And I'm just gonna mix that up. Those are all the dry ingredients. This brown sugar is a little lumpy, so I'm just gonna break it up a little bit, but all good. All that's left to add is the wet ingredients. So what's key, and I am sure that you can find this in the US, you may have to hunt around a little bit, but this is a staple of British pantries, is golden syrup. When Sutter and I weren't sure if we could find it, we did actually research what you could use instead, and it's possible to make golden syrup, but try and find it if you can. So this is going to be 2 tablespoons of golden syrup. Now something I did, because it's very sticky, it's like honey, is I sprayed some cooking oil on this, which hopefully will make it a bit easier to get out. Let's see whether that's true. Well, somewhat. It was probably overly optimistic, but not too bad. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of that. Let's just get that all out. I used to love golden syrup when I was a kid. A lot of very nice British desserts, otherwise called puddings, are made with golden syrup. And then there is 50 grams of melted unsalted butter. I'm gonna put that in. Okay. Then we're gonna give that a stir. And that is it for the ingredients. So I made a well in the dried ingredients and then put the wet ingredients in, and now I'm combining it. And it's supposed to all come together in a bit of a sticky dough in the end, which the recipe says I may need to use my hands for. I've got nails, so I'm gonna hope I don't have to use my hands, but it's possible I'll have to use my hands. Let's see, I may have to use Sasha's hands. So you have to line a baking sheet. I have these wonderful silicone mats that I love, but if you don't have these, some parchment paper. And then you have to roll the dough into these balls. Now I have to say, the recipe said 15 grams, and so we tested what 15 grams looked like, and it turned out to look much smaller than we'd anticipated. So we tried to make them all pretty uniform. And then you just press them down gently, don't overdo it, but gently so that they are looking a bit flatter. I'm gonna make this one a little flatter. And then I'm gonna pop them in the oven for 12 to 14 minutes. Now what I tend to do, because I know my oven is a little uneven, is that whenever I'm baking anything halfway through, I turn the tray 180 degrees, but do whatever you need to do with your oven. So here's the finished biscuits. I've got a cup of tea because, as you know, you cannot have biscuits without tea. Tea goes with everything in England. And I'm going to try one now. Let's see. They're good. I can see why these are Wolf's favorite.